I also want to talk about the logo and really to go back to homework 1 on those image formats. When you upload your logo, remember that you want it to be web ready in a web format. So even if you design it, let's say in Illustrator, and it's a vector graphic, you can save it as an SVG, a scalable vector graphic, but you probably want to retain the original Illustrator file or whatever program you used to create it in, then also save it as a web format. So have several different versions. You may have a JPEG version as well as the Illustrator version or Photoshop version with layers, and then save it at a lower resolution for web at PNG or JPEG format. Just keeping in mind what size you might want to use it on one of your final sites. And you may want to have a couple of different sizes for your website. In one page it may be used larger, and another it may be used at a smaller size. So just go back and make sure that they're saved in the appropriate web format. Think about the file size, the load time as well. Think about color and how you want to use that in your logo. I do want you to have a full color logo, and then you can modify the color later on when we think about responsive sites. You are only required to have a logo for your professional site in Module 9 in our final project. So just keep in mind that you will be turning in 3 final sites: your ePortfolio, a professional site that you'll create with a partner or partners, and then a responsive site, which will be a mobile-friendly site that's a redesign of one of your other final sites. So I just want to show a few examples. Here is one student's logo that she did in Illustrator. So if you see that these are all vector paths, and the advantage of that is this is freely scalable, so I could go back and make this entire logo larger and I wouldn't lose any of the quality. So if I wanted to save an Illustrator file for web, I can't just upload an Illustrator file onto the website. First, I will have to save it as an SVG, a scalable vector graphic. So I can go to File, Save As, and then select SVG as the format. And here are several different SVG logos that she's created for the website to be mobile friendly and on different pages of the site. Here's an example of another vector logo that I created in Illustrator, but then here I have brought it into Photoshop as a TIFF file. So if we go, this is currently saved as a TIFF file, but I can't upload a TIFF file for web appropriate format. So I'm going to first make sure I'm working in RGB here for web, and let's say I want to give this a transparent background. What I'm going to do first is create a new layer with a transparent layer, and then going to my original layer, I want to go ahead, and I always just like to duplicate the layer just in case I don't mess up the original layer, and then I can hide the original layer. So I'm on my duplicated layer, and I'm going to use the magic wand. You could also use quick selection tool or the layer mask, but I'm just going to select the magic wand here, and you can change the sample size, tolerance, and I just want to select the white areas. Then I'm going to go to select inverse, so that I'm just selecting the artwork itself, and then I'm going to do a copy paste. So I'm copying that into this new transparent layer. I'm going to hide this current layer I'm on and just go to edit paste and paste that right over the transparent background. Now you see I missed a few spots, so I can go in with that magic wand again and just hold down the shift key to select those white areas and then just delete it. I'm going to hold my space bar and then navigate here to these other white areas, and I can just delete that to clean it up. So now I have my logo on a transparent background. So the best format I should use to retain transparency in the background with these flat colors, I see I've missed a few spots here, is a PNG. So go back and delete those. And then I'm going to go to File, Save As, and change my format to the PNG format. Let's say I wanted to open up this PDF file and use it as a logo. First, I want to change this resolution to 96. I'm going to use RGB color. And now I can crop or adjust this accordingly to how I want it. And then I can save this. Because this image has a lot of colors, I'm going to save it as a JPEG file. So then if I go back and open that image I just saved, the JPEG, you can see because a JPEG does not retain transparency, it's going to have the it's not going to have the transparent background.